it's time for another road trip. Today I'm headed to Lexington, Kentucky. It's here that Steve and Donna Hertz live with their children, 7-year-old Tanner and 5-year-old Caroline. Now Caroline has a large desk and shelving unit in her bedroom. Tanner's room, on the other hand, lacks this amenity. We're going to even things out by creating a wall-mounted desk and shelving set that's ideal for a young boy. Well, I've taken the liberty, based on our earlier conversations, about drawing something here for you. It's going to have shelves on both sides and a desk across the bottom. So how does that look to you?
That looks great.
It really looks good.
All right, so I'd like to get started. We'll move this stuff out of the room, and I want to first of all check for the location of the wall studs. But I'll give you a hand here.
Okay.
After cleaning out the room, Donna and Steve use electronic stud finders to locate, then mark each of the studs on the wall where we'll be installing the shelving unit. It's on these studs that we'll attach 4 standards, or wooden strips, onto which we'll mount movable support brackets for the desk and shelves. Next, we go outside where I've set up my compound miter saw. Now, I've already cut the standards to length, but we're about to give them a decorative touch by making a chamfer or angled cut on each end. Okay, and then we'll cut this off using the power miter box. Guys got some glasses. Okay, who wants to cut first?
Go ahead, hon.
Okay, I'll try.
Donna, victim number 1. After getting a few tips, Donna cuts the first chamfer, then Steve takes a turn. Right on the money.
Looks good.
Not too better than that. Okay, we're ready now for a very boring experience. Get it?
Oh, boring.
Holes, boring.
Got it,
Okay.
gotcha.
We're going to bore a row of holes through the sides of each standard. Then we'll drill matching holes in each shelf bracket. Slip the bracket over the standard, and secure the bracket to the standard by driving in dowels. In order to make sure that those holes are evenly spaced, I made up this little jig for you here. It's called a boring jig. It's out of plywood. We're going to lay this right on top, like so. Make sure the end is flush up here. And then kind of put this on the edge of the table like that.
Okay.
All right, Steve, then take one of these clamps over there if you would. And we're going to clamp the boring jig right to the tabletop like this.
Okay.
With the jig clamped in place, we begin drilling. This portable drill press attached to our hand drill will keep the drill bits straight up and down, making certain these holes will align with those we'll drill later in the bracket. Next, we drill a second set of holes on the front. These are for the lag screws that will attach the standards to the wall. First, Donna drills larger countersink holes, which will allow the screw heads to sit below the surface. Steve follows behind, drilling shank holes that go all the way through. Then it's back inside for installation.
Right there.
Steve and I hold the standard in place while I run a drill bit through the shank hole just far enough to make a locator mark on the wall. We take the standard away, and I get Donna set to drill pilot holes. Place this in the marker hole there, and find the center of the hole. We repeat the process for each of the standards, and now we're ready to mount them with lag screws and washers. Are you on the markers, Steve?
Yes.
We give the screws a couple of turns by hand, then use a socket wrench to tighten them. With the standards up, it's back outdoors. Now, we're going to build a shelf bracket.
All right.
Now the bracket attaches to the standards that we've already put up with a dowel, and then the shelf sits on top of the bracket. And we're going to make this bracket up out of 3 pieces of material, a core on the inside here and 2 skins on the outside. The core material is going to be 1.5 inch thick pine, and the skins are going to be cardboard like this. It's going to get sandwiched in between.
Okay.
But you notice that these are in kind of a triangular shape. So we're going to have to cut both the core and the skins to this shape. And to do that, we're going to use the table saw. Give you that, Steve, and just give you the whole works.
All right.
And we're going to set the table saw up with a little accessory here, a jig called a sled. So I'll show you in just in a second how this works. It's going to slide back and forth like this. We nail a pre-cut piece of wood for one of our pine cores directly onto the sled. Then run it alongside the saw blade, creating 2 triangular-shaped pieces. The sled holds the wood at the proper angle and allows us to keep our hands a safe distance from the blade. All right, now we want to cut the skins that are going to go outside that core in that same triangular shape. The only difficulty here is I don't want to nail through these because they're going to show. I don't want to have the holes left, so I'm going to figure out another way to sort of clamp these down. And I think if we take a block of wood and put it right there, another block of wood right here, and I run this screw in here, it'll hold it while we make the cut. Once all of our bracket parts are cut, we assemble them, first with glue, then with nails. And there you go. There's your first bracket right there.
Yeah, that looks good.
Steve and Donna assemble a dozen or so shelf brackets and then a couple of longer brackets that will support the desk. Now there's one more step in completing the brackets. The fins or tail ends of the brackets must each have matching holes bored through them in order to slide over the standard and be secured with a dowel. It's essential that these two holes line up exactly. I've made up this jig here. It's another boring jig. And all you guys have got to do is actually slip this in here, like so. Once again, the jig, along with our portable drill press, assures two holes that are in perfect alignment. It's pretty hard stuff, isn't it? Right.
That's good, though.
The key
shelves
is
will be strong.
that'll put the holes right where we need them. We've cut our shelves and desktop to size from sheets of plywood. But now I want to add strips of 1x2 edging to make them stronger and thicker in appearance. So let's start on the ends over here first. Donna, come on around here.
Okay.
Donna brushes glue on the edge of the shelves, then we press the edging into place and secure it with nails. Very nice. See, that shelf isn't going to go anywhere except up.
Yeah, great.
That sounds great.
With books on it.
We install the shelving brackets by hammering the dowels through the bracket and standard holes. If Tanner ever wants to relocate the shelves, these dowels can be driven back out and the brackets repositioned. Soon, we're ready for the shelves.
Donna, grab that side and we'll put this up.
So excited.
The shelves rest very solidly on the brackets, but because Tanner may decide to put a heavy object on one side or the other, they could tip. For that reason, we'll secure the shelves to the brackets with a couple of countersunk screws. All right, Steve, one desktop. How does it look to you?
Oh, it looks great. I love how it ties everything together. I'm real happy about it.
Very nice. Well, let's grab Donna, get some books and trophies, and set that up. You know, the more I see this, the more I like it. You know, it's a workspace, a storage space, play space.
Exactly.
You guys happy with it?
Real happy.
Very happy, very happy. It eliminates a lot of furniture in this room, which I think we needed.
Yeah.
And then it gives us all the storage space and, you know, the fact that we can adjust it, he can grow with it, I think it's great.
And it's a great place for him to study.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I almost feel like I want to sit down and hit the books.
Right.
Just looking at it. Well, I actually did sit down and hit the books, this time with Tanner himself at his brand new desk, which, along with the shelves, feels like the perfect addition to any boy's room.